Something doesn't seem quite right about this picture. Here's a demonstration of different ways to organize your space and give emphasis to your subject matter in a composition. What we see here is a porch which conveniently is separated into 3 different sections. So in a sense it's following that rule of thirds. By itself it's kind of boring. There's nothing really going on. It needs subject matter. It needs a center of interest. It needs something for you to look at. So I'm going to put myself there. But first, I'm going to give you a little something different to look at. I'm going to give you a little bit of emphasis through color. But I'm going to make myself a little more obvious. I'm going to get bigger. How do I do that? I come closer to the camera. And now I'm overlapping the background. Notice I'm standing right in front of this pole, which actually divides the frame into thirds. Kind of helps it give even more interest. The larger I get, the more significant I get. And the more you're able to register my emotions. Oh boy, we're back at a blank sheet of paper. Could be the scariest thing or an opportunity. In this particular case, we have to really think about how we're going to arrange our space. This project is about composition. It's about learning how to build a picture plane. And simplistically speaking, it's basically a subject and a background. In this case, we are going to be using our hand as the main subject, which happens to be the center of interest for the most part. So how do we position it? How do we look at this as a viewfinder into the world? So we have to make decisions. And that's what that first part of the video is about, is there's so many ways to draw attention to a particular item in a composition. But if we always keep it simple, subject, background, then we're able to position something that reads well. And I think that's actually a key concept here, is how do you make something read well? Well, in the case of the sample we had, I believe that the bigger I got, the more significant I got. So let's make the hand, the main subject, the main actor, somewhat large so it doesn't get lost in this sea of nothingness. And so that's a decision we're going to have to make. The second decision we have to make is how we're going to position it onto the frame. Okay, here's a few recommendations. One, make it large. All right, make it occupy a big section of the area. The background is subordinate to the foreground. Okay. Another thing I like to do is break the plane. Okay, break the plane, and that happened when I walked towards the camera earlier, and my legs were cut off, and the rest of my body. You knew it was there. You knew it was there, but it just created a break in the frame. And so we also have to decide, are we going to do it long ways? Are we going to do it horizontal, portrait? I don't know. So that is going to be determined kind of by the pose. Okay, so you just saw me draw a bunch of these. Now I'm going to recommend, don't use all your nice big paper. I'm a wasteful kind of guy. So I was just using all these big sheets of paper because I had them. For your little design sketches, for your gestural sketches, I highly recommend you just use the cheapest paper possible, because they're just plans, they're practice. And so let's see. I don't know, I kind of like the two-hand thing. It's dramatic, it kind of tells a story. Maybe the hand is stressed out and this one's trying to soothe it. Okay, this clenching one, not so much. Let's see. This one's kind of cool because it has that strong foreshortening there, and maybe I could even include a different element. I also have to consider, is it going to be pointing down? Is it going to be pointing up? Is it going to be pointing to the side? See, a lot of decisions to make. So it's the direction that your subject is going. Okay. So, what did I do? Any other ones? Any other ones to consider? No, those are no good. Oh yeah, the first one. I don't know. And again, it depends on if you have some sort of element in the hand that I think will determine, the direction of it. I'm kind of liking this one. I'm kind of liking the double hand one. And that's why we do this. That's why we do the practice sketches, the thumbnail sketches, the gestural sketches. Just so we're not confronted with a blank piece of paper and going, I don't know. I don't know. What do I do? Just give me something. Oh, I'll do a turkey hand. Gobble, gobble. Nah. Think about it, it's process. Did I mention this class was a lot about process? Okay. So, once again, compositional techniques. Make the hand the largest piece. Make it the main focus. Break the plane somewhere. So the hand should be coming off from the side, maybe in the middle, maybe from this side. Okay? Think about the emotion and the pose that it makes, right? Don't run out of room. If you make your hand go off to the side like this, right? And you see what I'm saying here? What you got to consider all the background, right? Okay. So I'm not saying center it. Make it a dramatic. Diagonals make dramatic compositions, right? Having the hand coming off from maybe the corner or the side. Always include part of the wrist. It just kind of creates a sense of stability as well. And what I am going to do is I'm not going to draw it really dark. I'm going to use just a regular old pencil. And I'm going to go very, very lightly. If I do this right, you shouldn't really see anything on this camera. Okay? I should draw it so lightly that all I'm doing is composing my picture, and I'm not putting any final marks on, because we're going to be doing this in ink, pen and ink, and so we don't want to have to erase too much, and if we do make a mistake, I want to be able to hide it. Okay. All right, here we go. So gonna figure it out. I dropped my pencil. Notice how I'm using the rule of thirds here. Kind of the more interesting area, even though there's no background, right? The more interesting subject matter, the center of interest, is here in that rule of thirds position on this composition. Now, always consider that you can crop. You can always cut your paper later. So I go beyond the frame of sorts. Okay. So my question here is, I like the positioning, I like the size, I drew it very gently, okay? So when I go to ink it, it's more about the artwork and less about the observation of the subject, because I'm doing all my thinking, I'm doing all my organizing, and I'm doing all my observation now, when I can still change it, when I can still erase it, versus when I go to ink. When I go to ink, I want it to be about the line, not so much about the accuracy of the proportions or the accuracy of the wrinkles and details. Okay, I want to be able to go beyond the exercise and make it into art. Then we have to think about the background. Okay, background is going to be patterns. It's kind of a stressed hand. It's kind of a, I don't know, a tense hand. So my background is probably going to have more tension lines versus smooth, flowy lines versus bubbles and whatnot. So I am going to make my background a bit more tense. Need a massage.